6:47, time now for the morning rush. A former APD officer is on leave from his job at another police department after being implicated in the DWI corruption scandal unfolding here in the metro. Former Albuquerque police officer Daniel Carr was added to the district attorney's Giglio list on Monday. Carr is now working as a full-time patrol officer with Durango Police. He's being placed on administrative leave.
We're getting a look at the moments when Carlsbad police caught up with a man accused of inappropriately touching himself in front of a family at a local park. Back on June the 13th, two women said that 31-year-old Drew Turner came up to them, started following them around, that's while touching himself inappropriately. Turner was arrested and is now facing 3 counts of assault, among other charges.
The family of a man who was murdered at a downtown Albuquerque strip club are voicing their displeasure with the prison sentence given to their loved one's killer. Louis Magi Shawimana pleaded no contest to shooting and killing Earl Romo at the Knockouts Gentlemen's Club on Central in December 2023. The judge sentenced him to 15 years behind bars. Ryan.
Wet weather was a big story, and around the crest yesterday we saw clouds, rain, and rainbows. Look at that double rainbow yesterday around sunset. What a beautiful scene. And a more interesting scene this morning with a sea of fog, that beautiful sunrise, and more moisture, more thunderstorms today, but a little bit hotter and drier ahead.
Well, the San Juan County Sheriff's Office is investigating a homicide in Fruitland. Now, on Sunday afternoon, 45-year-old Adrian Begay was arguing with his 21-year-old daughter and her boyfriend, 23-year-old DeAndre Julian. Begay's daughter and Julian left Begay's home, but police say he followed them, and they also say that's when Julian shot Begay in the chest, killing him.
The Ruidoso area remains on high alert as rain continues to move across the burn scars from last year's wildfires. Village officials say excessive rainfall over the burn scar will impact the Eagle Creek, Cedar Creek, and the Rio Ruidoso drainage canals. The village is expecting more rain throughout the day.
Meanwhile, the rain is helping firefighters battle 2 wildfires burning in Los Lunas. The fires, known as the Desert Willow Complex, have burned nearly 240 acres and destroyed several homes. Now, last check, the Cotton 1 fire is now 40% contained, while the Cotton 2 fire is 25% contained. Ryan.
And much needed moisture around the Trout fire area near Silver City. At Silver City right now, the airport 58 degrees with a 92% humidity. Mostly sunny, but expect thunderstorms this afternoon.
Crews are making progress on the Trout fire burning in the Gila. The fire, which has burned more than 47,000 acres near Silver City, is now 33% contained. Evacuation orders remain in place in the area. Those are seen in the green. Other areas are in ready and set status. We'll see those in the red and yellow. That area is also seeing heavy rainfall, and burn scar flooding is possible.
The state of New Mexico is now suing the feds in the effort to get them, or to push them rather, to clean up the PFAS contamination of Cannon Air Force Base. The lawsuit claims that the U.S. Air Force has now been releasing the chemical into the environment for decades. In addition to cleaning up the contamination and paying civil penalties, the lawsuit also aims to end all use of PFAS firefighting foam at Cannon for anything other than emergency purposes.
Well, we're getting closer to finding out if the state fairgrounds will be used for a major redevelopment project. Yesterday, the state announced Stantec Consulting Services has the contract to create a master plan for the fairgrounds. Former Albuquerque Mayor Marty Chavez is spearheading the governor's initiative and says community meetings and economic analysis will be part of it. Ryan.
And taking a look at traffic right now, no major accidents or slowdowns out there. Pretty good traffic flow. And taking a look at tracker heading south on I-25 near Osuna. Again, smooth sailing traffic. Now, we do have to watch out for the potential flash flooding later today, so please be careful on the roads later today, and we'll have more updates throughout the day.
Well, when you think of using animals to clear weeds and other debris, you may just think of goats or sheep. But what about hundreds of chickens? James Cinciolo says that he's put nearly 145 chickens to work, eating all of the weeds and the extra plants every single day. This is to help maintain the rows of walnut trees. The chickens, they also get fed on the side, and what they leave behind also brings essential nutrients to the soil.
Now it's time for the 5 facts.
And number 5, we're getting closer to finding out if the state fairgrounds will be used for major redevelopment projects. Yesterday, the state announced Stantec Consulting Services has the contract to create a master plan for the fairgrounds that's expected to detail all of the potential options, including what can or can't be built on the property. Former Albuquerque Mayor Marty Chavez is spearheading the governor's initiative and says community meetings and economic analysis will be part of it. But Chavez says nothing has been or will be decided until the master plan is finished.
At number 4, the state of New Mexico is now suing the feds in the effort to push them to clean up the PFAS contamination at Cannon Air Force Base. That lawsuit comes just a few months after the Air Force Base near Clovis was fined by the state over the PFAS violations. The lawsuit claims that the U.S. Air Force has been releasing the chemical into the environment for decades, causing groundwater plumes extending 4 miles southeast of the base itself. Well, according to the State Environment Department, the plume resulted in the euthanasia of about 3,500 dairy cows. In addition to cleaning up the contamination and paying the civil penalties, the lawsuit also aims to end all use of PFAS firefighting foam at Cannon for anything other than emergency purposes.
And at number 3, more thunderstorms today, not as widespread as compared to yesterday, but we still have that same chance for flooding in southern and eastern New Mexico around Ruidoso today. So something we're keeping an eye on. Already storms firing off this morning and fewer storms off to the northwest. Each day will be a little bit drier and a little bit hotter, though, ahead.
At number 2, the Ruidoso area remains on high alert as the rain continues to move across the burn scars from last year's wildfires. Village officials say that excessive rainfall over the burn scar will impact the Eagle Creek, Cedar Creek, and Rio Ruidoso drainage canals. Now, on Monday, the Ruidoso Downs racetrack says that its flood mitigation efforts got tested after receiving a little more than an inch of rain. They say that all the efforts paid off.
And at number 1 this morning, a former APD officer is now on leave from his job at another police department after being implicated in the DWI corruption scandal unfolding here in the metro. Former Albuquerque police officer Daniel Carr was added to the district attorney's Giglio list on Monday. This comes as part of the ongoing federal investigation into the DWI corruption scheme, where officers were taking money to get DWI cases dismissed in court. Carr is currently a full-time patrol officer with Durango Police. He has not been charged with a crime. A deputy chief with Durango Police says as of now, Carr is being placed on administrative leave.